The drama Pose portrays New York City's African American and Latino LGBTQI and gender-nonconforming ballroom culture scene from the 1980s through the 1990s. FX Networks This June marks the 51st Pride Month, a time to celebrate the lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer and intersex community that spans races, ages and geographical lines. The first LGBTQ Pride March took place in New York on June 28, 1970. It was a two-fold occasion, marking the first anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising, protests that spurred the gay rights movement in the United States and around the world. While some will return to Pride parades in person this year, there are plenty of brilliant LGBTQ films and TV shows to stay in with. CNET staff has rounded up a bunch of options that portray a range of stories and experiences. Entertain your brain with the coolest news from space to superheroes, memes to robots. The Death and Life of Marsha P. Johnson. This compelling documentary investigates the mysterious 1992 death of Marsha P. Johnson, a black, trans and gay rights activist and veteran of the Stonewall Uprising of 1969. The Death and Life of Marsha P. Johnson uses archival interviews with Johnson, as well as new interviews with Johnson's family, friends and fellow activists. This is a must-see movie for those who want to learn more about gay, trans and black history, but also for those who believe Johnson was murdered and want justice. BurtonA single man ManColin Firth is George Falconer, a middle-aged English college professor, who's also English, living in 1962 Los Angeles in this 2009 movie based on Christopher Isherwood's 1964 novel of the same name. When the film opens, it's been 8 months since his longtime partner Jim, played in flashbacks by Matthew Goode, died in a car wreck. Still deeply in mourning, George goes about his day on autopilot while connecting with his best friend Charlie, Julianne Moore, and meeting Kenny, an attractive student, Nicholas Holt. It's a moving story that doesn't shy away from the cruel homophobia of the time. We learn Jim's family did not allow George to attend his funeral. Directed by fashion designer Tom Ford, the sets, costumes and music are stunningly gorgeous. Kent GermanPosePose, created by American Horror Stories Ryan Murphy, is a TV drama about New York City's African American and Latinx LGBTQI ballroom culture scene during its heyday in the 1980s and early 1990s. Pose was inspired by the 1990 documentary Paris is Burning. The series, which has completed its third and final season, also tackles the HIV/AIDS crisis. It features the largest cast of trans actors as series regulars on a scripted show, including Our Lady J, MJ Rodriguez, Indya Moore, Dominique Jackson, Angelica Ross and Haley Sahar. Pose also stars the one and only Billy Porter as the ballroom grandfather. Pray Tell. Janet Mock also writes, produces and directs Pose episodes.